Welcome to Ghetto Kitchen Stadium, and today we're gonna make a cake and frost it with homemade frosting for the first time in my life by myself. I do this when I was younger with my mom, but yeah. So tomorrow is my daughter's birthday and I'm gonna make it my Spider-Man cake. Let's go. Welcome to Ghetto Kitchen Stadium. So here are the ingredients. We have icing sugar, cake mix, chocolate, and food coloring. And first we're gonna make the cakes. So we just follow the recipe from the cake mix box, and we get some eggs, some oil, some water, and the cake mix. And then we mix. And of course, the mixer doing its own thing. Or I don't know how to mix, so I had to help it along. And get everything in there. Like, what the hell, just mix. Then we had to line the baking tin with parchment paper, not wax paper, because apparently they are different things. So, yeah. Then we cut out a little circle, put in the baking tin. Instead of using butter and flour on the bottom of the cake, we used the parchment paper. Then it was time to put the cake in the tin, and we tried to make it flat and even. I don't know if this is what it's supposed to do, but I think I saw this somewhere, TikTok, maybe on the Food Network. And you just shake the tins and make the cake flat. I mean, it didn't really work out. I don't know. Then you just pop it in the oven and let it bake for 29 minutes. Exactly 29 minutes. It was perfect at 29 minutes. Absolutely perfect. While the cake was baking, I was mixing the icing in. So to make buttercream, you need a stick of butter, 2 cups of icing sugar, and a stick of lard. And apparently a stick of butter is half of our regular Blue Band butter. So yeah, I did the measurements, don't at me. And then I was trying to do something fancy here and sift the icing sugar over the measuring cup, which didn't make any sense at all. I don't know, like, what? I should have just sifted in the bowl, measure it out first and then sift it in the bowl like a smart person, but no. Anyway, I sifted it the hard way and I got powdered sugar everywhere. Then it was time to soften the butter and then add the icing sugar gradually. This takes 100 years. It takes so long to soften this butter, and it was just sticking up in the mixer and everywhere, making a mess. And then I had to add vanilla. The recipe called for 2 teaspoons of water as well, but I didn't add the water because I was going to add food coloring, which would be liquid, and I didn't want to interfere with the consistency of the final product. So here we go, adding the icing sugar, and you'll find out about how the food coloring went later. And then we mix 100 years of mixing. Oh yeah, we mixing whole day. And at this point, I figure out that I should shake the sugar over the bowl instead of into the measuring cup. So I wasn't dumb for the whole day. I was kind of smart at some point in time.
Many hours later.
And we still mixing. Mix. Then we pull the cakes out of the oven, and they were amazing. 29 minutes cakes. Yeah. So at this point I decided to make it a 3-layer cake because 1 pack of cake mix gave me 2 8-inch rounds. So I decided to use the other box and make a 3-layer cake. So I made another batch, and then I had 4 cakes, and I was making a 3-layer one for my godson. So, in the Ghetto Kitchen Stadium, you have to get a little bit innovative, and I needed to make a turntable because I don't have that. I put this cover in the bowl, and then I put a cover on top of it as the platter. It was another plastic cover from another bowl. and then I made a little circle with the parchment paper again to make a lining as a base for the cakes. And then it was time to prepare the cakes for icing. So I saw this trick on TikTok, most likely TikTok, where they use floss to cut the cakes. So I was gonna try to do that to get a smooth, even top. So you're cutting off the round bits with the floss, and of course it did not work out so well because this was my first time trying it and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, so it was very lumpy and bumpy. Fun! Then it kinda got better coming to the last cake, and here you can see a flat top sheet of cake. Then it was time to icing the cake, but first I had to add the food coloring. So this cake is supposed to be red and blue because it's a Spider-Man cake. Apparently my godson loves Spider-Man and it's the 8th thing when you're 3 years old. So I got this food coloring at a very cheap grocery store, but I didn't know where else to go and buy it because it's a pandemic. So fun. And I don't know what is this, but why is it so pink? What the hell is this? I don't understand and I cannot believe. Anyways, this was the quota of liquid that I had to add to the icing. So I didn't know what to do, but I wanted it to be more red, so I add more food coloring, and it was still pink. It wasn't even helping when I mix it with the mixer. It was just pink all over. I was absolutely depressed. Go ahead and add more food coloring. Look at how red this food coloring is, and it's just pink. I don't understand what is happening. At this point I was fed up. I was like, F this, it's over. I don't know what to do, but I already promised a cake, so I'll just do it. It's gonna be a pink Spider-Man. Let's go. I mean, at least it will still taste good, right? So of course in the Ghetto kitchen stadium we have no utensils, so we're gonna ice in the cake with a regular knife, because I don't have no cake spatula or whatever it is called it. So we gonna use this knife which has a sharp edge and one straight side. So using these straight sides to do the icing, we're just gonna fill the cakes with some buttercream in between, and then we're gonna ice in the top with the rest. So we stack the 3 layers and we use the buttercream to make a nice crumb coat. Well, I don't know if I would ever get past the crumb coat because the crumbs was all over, and this knife was so frustrating. I couldn't get it to be flat, I couldn't get it to be smooth. I don't know why does do these things. Anybody can tell me why does do these kind of dumb things? Anyway, we pushed on and through and we got something resembling a cake. Like, wow. Now it's time for the decorations. Fun! So, obviously it's Spider-Man, so I have to make a spider web. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna use a plastic bag to do the piping, right? Because, yeah, I don't have a icing bag or icing flutes or icing tips or whatever it is called. I have no tools. This is Ghetto Kitchen Stadium. Anyways, I fill this bag with the buttercream, and I cut a little hole, snip snip, and then we were gonna draw our web. And of course, being me, I didn't try to see how it is gonna come out on something separate. I just start immediately on the cake, and the hole being flat in the bag made the lines wavy instead of straight, and I was like, what the hell is happening? This is not how this is supposed to look. I can't even deal with this right now. Anyways, I continued and I just went along with all of it. And then I did the little any web bits. I don't know what it is called, these lines. If anybody knows what these intricate parts of the web is called, let me know in the comments below, because I don't know about the parts of a web. But yeah, so the lines I did all around the top, randomly making the worst web in the history of man. Then I piped the sides, same lines, wiggly squiggly, and then the same intricate web parts. Didn't make any sense, and finally it was over. A dumb looking cake. And after the webbing just frustrated my whole soul, it was time to make the chocolate spider. So obviously another TikTok hack. We're gonna just drop this chocolate in some boiling water and you get liquid chocolate that you can use to draw anything with. So I let it sit for a minute in the hot water, and then it was time to draw my spider. And I didn't waste any of my parchment paper from earlier. This is the remainder from the circle that I cut for the inner lining of the cake pan, and I just put it together and place it over the printed image of the spider, and then I drew this spider with this chocolate. And this was very tedious and very painstaking, and my hand was doing its own thing, the chocolate was doing its own thing, the pack was doing its own thing. I don't even know what, it was just a own thing party right through. So finally it was like something resembling a spider, and I had to clean it up with a knife to make it less messy. And then I had to pop it into the freezer. I mean, it didn't look absolutely terrible, but I mean, it didn't get flat though, and I don't know what the hell was happening. I don't know why the chocolate didn't just settle and become flat so that it would be something more presentable. It was just a lumpy bumpy spider, and I was over it. I'm very sorry, Spider-Man, and I'm very sorry to my dear sweet godson. I mean, anywho, when it was frozen and movable, it was time to put it on the dumb looking cake. So a dumb looking spider on a dumb looking web, and there you have it, folks. A cake fit for a 3-year-old, apparently, because he was excited about it. He was like, hey, look, a cake, a spider cake, ooh, Spider-Man. And I was like, yeah boy, alright. He was very happy about it, so happy that he sang himself happy birthday. So if you made it to the end here, thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for listening to this rant about how not to make a cake. Like, wow. I also want to say a special shout out to Brandon Ojer for subscribing. You rock, my guy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Peace. And it did not record. Like, what the frick? So hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, drop the like and